What's happening, everyone? Steve here, Cars with Steve, and today we're doing another head-to-head comparison. This time taking a look at the 21 Aviator, comparing that with the 2021 Lincoln Navigator. We're going to be going over size, dimensions, cargo dimensions, towing capacity, engines, and a number of other things. If you enjoy the content, give it a thumbs up and think about subscribing, but let's dive into it, have a little bit of fun, and see what these two vehicles have to offer. Taking a look at the outside styling of the Aviator. Now, a couple things to point out. This is the Grand Touring version, so the hybrid version of the vehicle. So we've got a unique cutout just along the front underneath the Aviator sign in the front there, the Aviator badging, but beautiful look to it. And we've got an LED headlamp wrap around there. We've got our turning signals. And then as we start to move down, we've got our fog lamps as well, but all really nicely laid out into the grille. Looking at the tire styling inside of the vehicle. So a few things to point out when it comes down to tire size. In Canada, in the regular version of the vehicle, we're going to have either 20 or 21 inch tires. In the Grand Touring, we're going to have the 21 inch tire standard as well. Down in the States, you've got the option for either 19, 20, 21, or 22 inch tire, depending on which trim level of the vehicle you're looking at. And there are a series of different looks and styles that are available for the actual rim itself. When it comes down to the rubber, we are looking at Pirellis inside of the Aviator Grand Touring version of the vehicle, and the rubber is going to depend on the type of vehicle that you're looking at along with that tire size. Now, a couple other things to point out, as you can see, so nice styling along the side. We do have another little turn signal along the side there as well, just to give us a little bit more visibility. Nice little fender along the side. It doesn't pop out too much, but just a little bit, so it kind of adds to that niceness, that really sleek look that they're going for inside of the Aviator for styling. Now, as I mentioned, this is the Grand Touring version of the vehicle, which means that we've got a cutout along the front in order to be able to charge the vehicle up, and we've also got unique badging along the top for the Aviator. Now, typically, that's going to be silver, strictly silver, but when we get inside of the Grand Touring version of the vehicle, Lincoln wanted the vehicle to pop just a little bit more. So we've got blue lettering along the Aviator in the front, and then we've also got a little bit of a blue part of the grille. Let's go take a peek at that for a second. Looking at the grille inside of the Aviator. So this is the Grand Touring model of the vehicle. We've got a beautiful honeycomb look there, just for easier airflow to power that vehicle. Now, when it comes to the logo itself, so the logo setup is going to be slightly similar across the entire Aviator lineup. But one thing that makes the Grand Touring different that we're looking at is the blue that's highlighted inside of the actual logo itself. So just along the side, so it really makes it pop, makes it a little bit more unique. Moving down, we've got our front-facing camera. That can be used for a front partial view or a front 180-degree view. And one of the nice things is when we have that in conjunction with our side cameras and our rear view camera, it's going to give us a full 360-degree view around the entire vehicle. But nice look there, and nice sleeves along the bottom as well. And as I mentioned, we do have our LED headlamps, our turn signals, as well as our fog lamps on the bottom, and it really does make this vehicle pop. Taking a look at the actual Aviator lettering there. So as you can see there, we do have that blue highlight inside of the actual Aviator badging there. So it really makes it pop out a little bit more. Moving down a little bit, so we do have our emergency access holes. So if we ever need to get access to the vehicle because our key fob has died, that's how we're going to do it. But we've also got our side view mirrors there, which are going to be power folding, so auto folding. And as we start to move down, you can just kind of make it out there, but we have one of our side view mirrors there. So our side view camera, and that camera, when we stitch it together, is going to give us that full 360 view. Moving up overhead, really solid look to this. Moving up, as you can see there, we do have that twin panel sunroof stretched along the top there, so that panoramic roof, really nice look to it. We've got our sidebars as well, and then we do have the option of installing an aftermarket crossbar. So if we need to store some things along the top, we've got the ability to do that. And moving back, as you can see, we do have our shark fin as our antenna. So rather than that kind of bulkier antenna, we've got a nice little look in the back there, and that antenna is going to be for AM, FM, Sirius XM, etc. The Navigator in behind me has the monochrome package that's available from the factory, available either in the black or the white, so pristine white or the black. Now, looking at it, this obviously is the white exterior, so we've got the grille that's painted white instead. So really unique look when it comes down to it. If we didn't have the monochrome package, it would essentially just kind of be this aluminum look for the grille instead, but with the monochrome package painted white, matching the body color, which is really nice. As we start to move down a little bit, as you can see there, we have a little bit of a black pop out. Now, that's going to be the lip along the bottom. As you can see there, a little bit along the side there as we cut into our fog lamps, and then we've got our LED projecting headlamps along the top there as well. On top of that, you can just kind of make it out in that Lincoln logo, but we do have our 360 camera, so that front-facing camera to give us that front partial view, or we can wrap it around for that full 360-degree view instead. When we look at the wheel choice inside of the Navigator, so this is the monochrome package, which is why we've got this beautiful black wheel. Now, if you ask me, when it comes down to it, looking at the pristine white with that black highlight, so in that black wheel, along with the running board along the side there as well, and those black highlights, it does look really sharp, and it makes those contrasts between the black and the white really stand out. Now, in the monochrome package, the Navigator badging along the top there also is going to be a unique color scheme as well. So typically it's going to be highlighted silver versus its white highlights instead inside of that monochrome package, so really makes it pop. But that black split spoke wheel I think looks absolutely stunning. In Canada, whether you get the monochrome package or not, we're strictly looking at a 22-inch wheel as an option. That's the only one we've got in Canada. Down in the States, you've got either a 20-inch wheel option or your 22s that are optional as well, depending on the trim level that you're looking at of the vehicle. Stretching along the entire side. Now, this is the long base wheelbase of the Navigator, which means that we've got a couple extra inches of the vehicle stretched out. If you look for the regular, you're essentially compacting the vehicle by a couple inches, and then you're also losing some cargo space there as well. We'll touch on cargo space in just a minute, but beautiful look to it. Now, one of the nice things about the Navigator is that it is power deployable running boards. So we go to open up the door, running boards drop down, which is really, really nice. We shut the door, we go to lock it, and watch this. Power up, the running boards jump back up there again as well. So really unique look to it. Now, one of the nice things about the Navigator is, yes, the running boards are power deployable, but we've got the option of permanently locking them down if you have that preference. So, you know, wintertime driving, you want to make sure that you're not collecting too much ice and things like that underneath it. But if you're living in those southern states, typically that's not an issue that you're going to have to worry about. All right, now taking a look, so the actual side view mirrors, they are power deployable. As we take a peek along the top of the vehicle, as you can see there, we do also have our side rails. So we've got the ability to load some things up if we need to when we get those crossbars along the top. As you can see there, we've got a couple pivot points along the side, so we can fit 3 bars across the top there if we need to throw storage carriers and things like that. Now, this is the panoramic sunroof that is going to be standard on the Navigator. Taking a look on the inside, as you can see there, we do have the shade closed up, which is why we can't see the top there. We're going to cover off that in just a moment, but looking along the top, it really is nice and sharp. Now, taking a look as well, we do have that shark fin along the top, and that's going to be that's essentially our antenna. So that's going to be the receiver for the Sirius XM radio, AM, FM, etc. Now, taking a peek underneath the hood of the Aviator. So the Aviator, we actually do have 2 different engine choices that are available. It actually is technically the same 3-liter twin turbo engine, but we are looking at the hybrid, which means it also does have a micro battery. So really, really nice from a power perspective. The regular 3-liter twin turbo is going to push out 400 horsepower and 415 pound-feet of torque, while the 3-liter hybrid that we're looking at here is going to be able to push out 494 horsepower and 630 pound-feet of torque. So tons of power from that perspective. Looking underneath the hood, as you can see there, we can easily change some fluids if we need to, top some things up. We've got easy access to our battery, and we've also got the ability to easily check or change our oil if we need to. So we've got our dipstick, and then we've also got our oil cap there as well. And we've got access to the fuse panel along the top as well, but really nice and clean look underneath the hood of this thing. Looking at some standard technology inside the vehicle, we do have our backup camera, as well as our reverse sensing system, so we can just kind of make out the reverse sensors there. And we also do have the ability to use a 5-digit number in order to get access to the vehicle. So if we don't have the key fob on us, we can enter a 5-digit factory number to get in. We do have the ability to program in a separate 5-digit number if you're going to remember that one a little bit easier. Other standard technology, we do have a blind spot system, and then we also do have a lane keeping system, so lane keeping and lane centering. Now, this one is the hybrid, so as you can see there, we do have our charge port along the front there. And moving along the front of the vehicle, depending on the trim level that you're in, we do also have the option for that 360 camera. So we've got the full 360 camera, and we've also got our forward sensing system in there as well. But really, really nice look. Now, this is actually unique to the hybrid, this blue kind of look inside. I actually love the look of this thing because I love the look of blue. But if we look at another Lincoln, for instance, like if we look at the Navigator, this is typically what we're going to see in the regular gas engines. So it's kind of neat that they really have made the hybrid step apart and look a little bit different by adding in those touches of blue there. In order to be able to fill up gas inside of this thing, it's a very straightforward process. Now, we are looking at the hybrid, which means it's got a lockable gas cap. The regular gas engine does not have a lockable cap there, so definitely something to take into account, but it's the same capless system that we would see across the entire Lincoln lineup. So once you've done filling up, all you're gonna do is just click it, lock it back into place. Now, when it comes into fuel quality, minimum manufacturer's recommendation is just your regular 87 gas, so regular 87 octane. Now, having said that, this is a 3-liter twin turbo engine, so it's a performance vehicle. So at a minimum, I recommend using a 91 octane, ideally a 94 instead, but at least that 91, you're gonna notice about a 10% boost in performance moving from the 87 to the 91 instead. So definitely something to take into account. Now taking a peek underneath the hood of the Navigator. So beautiful look through it. This thing is an absolute monster. It's a 3.5 liter twin turbo engine, and that's the only available engine choice inside of the Navigator. From a power perspective, it's going to be able to push out 450 horsepower and 510 pound-feet of torque. So plenty powerful from that perspective. We can easily top up some fluids if we need to. We can easily access the battery if we ever need to give anybody a boost. But here's the kicker. If you're a fan of checking and changing the oil yourself, a little bit more challenging. We can check it down there, but it is a little bit more challenging when it comes down to it, but not impossible. Now looking at some standard technology inside of the Navigator. So as you can see there, we do have our backup camera, and we also do have the reverse sensing system. So reverse sensing system, which is super useful. And when it comes down to it, we also do have our blind spot system. Lets us know if anybody's entered the blind spot in either side of the vehicle. And we also do have a lane keeping system. So lane keeping and a lane centering. Now on top of that, now as you can see there, this is the monochrome package inside of this thing, what I think looks absolutely stunning. But as you can see, we also do have our forward sensing system. So we've got our forward sensors, and we also do have that front facing camera, which gives us the full 360-degree view as well. Filling up in fuel inside of the Navigator is the same across the entire Lincoln lineup. So along our driver's side door, as you can see, we've got a capless system. Insert your fuel hose and you're set to go. Now, when it comes down to minimum manufacturer's recommendations, so for your fuel quality, regular 87 gas is okay. Having said that, this is a 3.5 liter twin turbo, a performance vehicle. So could you get away with that lower octane? Yes, but realistically, I recommend using at least a 91 or ideally a 94 octane, because you're definitely going to notice a difference inside of the actual fuel economy. It's going to be a little bit better in that higher octane, but it's also a little bit cleaner underneath the hood. Looking at towing inside of the Aviator, some packages have it, but it is available across the entire lineup, so you can add it on without going to those higher packages. When we get it from the factory, which I definitely recommend you do, because not only is it an improved towing capacity, but it's also hidden underneath this plastic part in the bottom there, so it's nice that it's kind of hidden away. It's not going to get rusted off like what you traditionally find. From a towing perspective, looking at the hybrid engine, you're going to max out at 5,600 pounds. When you're in the regular 3-liter twin-turbo gas engine, that thing's going to be able to pull up to 6,700 pounds instead. So definitely recommend getting the hitch from the factory, because not only do we have it looking nicer, we have a higher towing capacity, we also do have our trailer sway control as well. So if the vehicle senses a trailer sway going on, it's automatically going to apply engine braking in order to get that sway under control. Now taking a peek at the key fob of the vehicle, so a few things to point out. We've got our unlock and our lock button, our remote start, which we can either remote start on the key fob, or we can use the Lincoln Way app on an Android or an iPhone device in order to be able to remote start that way. We've got our trunk release, as well as our horn or a panic alarm button, and then we also do have our emergency access key. Now remote starting is very straightforward. We press the lock button once, circle button twice, and then in order to get underneath into the trunk, I should say, we've got the ability to either double press this button, or we've also got a few different options on the outside of the vehicle. So just underneath the L in Lincoln, if we go right underneath, there's a button there. So we can button press that in order to lift this thing up. But across the Lincoln lineup, we also do have a foot activated lift gate. So all you're gonna do, if you have a handful of groceries, kids, whatever the case may be, or you just want to grab for your key fob, all you're gonna do is just swipe your foot underneath and step back. Look at that. Power foot activated liftgate. Let's have a peek inside. Now taking a peek at the cargo dimensions. So as you can see there, that's just going to be for the cargo area back here itself. So we do have a little bit of space there. Now one of the nice things about the Aviator is that it is 3 rows, and we can also fold the seats down individually. So the setup that we've got for that middle row is the dual captain's chair. So if we wanted to just fold down the left side to get some lumber and things like that in there, we've got the ability to easily do that. Okay, now let's take a look at the difference when we've got that second row folded down. So a little bit more space than you'd see in the Nautilus, and we've got a little bit more width as well. So if you need a little bit of extra space, I would definitely recommend looking at the Aviator instead, because even with that second row folded down, we still do have 4 seats. We've got the optional 5-seat configuration depending on what we do with that middle row. All right, now let's see how that compares. So when we've got the other row folded down, so the second and the third row folded down, look at all the space that we've got inside of this vehicle. I've got the driver passenger seat set up for somebody who's 6 feet tall, and we still do have a ton of space in behind that first row. So if you need to load a few more things in, definitely recommend looking at the Aviator or the Navigator as an option instead. Right now, taking a look at this back row. So a few things to point out. First and foremost, along the left-hand side there, as you can see, we've got some cargo hooks and the option of throwing in a cargo cover as well. Along the right-hand side, we've got a little light, and we also do have our seats. So we've got the ability to fold that third row seat down, and that's done power. So it's power up and power down. We can fold them both down together, or we can fold them down individually instead. So it's really going to be a matter of what you need as we start to move down. We also do have a 12-volt adapter, so our traditional cigarette lighter adapter. And we've also got this little guy. So Cranking this thing up, as you can see there, we've got a little bit of storage space underneath. We've got some space off to the left and the right-hand side, and we can just lift this thing up if we need to in order to get access to our mini spare tire. Towing inside of the Navigator. When you decide to get it, I definitely recommend just getting the tow package from the factory for a few different reasons. First of all, looking at it, the actual receiver is just hidden underneath this. So aesthetically, it's more pleasing, but that's just the look of it. Let's get to the technical side. When it comes down to a towing power perspective, when you get it from the factory, you're going to range between 6,200 pounds and 8,700 pounds, depending on if you go to the 4x2 or the 4x4 and the regular versus the extended length. Those numbers are showing up down below. But on top of that, from a technology perspective, when you get the tow package from the factory, you're going to get the trailer blind spot system, which means that when you enter the trailer dimensions, the blind spot is not only going to protect the vehicle, it's also going to extend it to cover the dimensions of the trailer or the boat that you're towing as well. So a huge benefit. On top of that, we also do have that sway system. So if the vehicle senses that there's sway going on in the trailer, it's automatically going to apply engine braking to try to get that trailer sway under control. Taking a peek at the key fob of the vehicle. So we've got our unlock and our lock button, our remote start, our trunk release, as well as our horn or a panic alarm button. And we've also got our emergency access key. Now, when it comes down to remote starting, we can remote start directly through the key fob, or we can use either an iPhone or an Android device to use the FordPass app to not only remote start, but also to unlock and lock the doors, which is really, really nice. Getting into the trunk, we can press that button twice in order to do it, but if we look underneath the L in Lincoln, there is a button just underneath that we can use in order to lift up that lift gate. But if your hands are full with bags, groceries, kids, whatever the case may be, keys in the pocket, you want to pull it out, all you have to do is just take your foot and you're just going to slide it underneath and step back, and look at that. Foot activated power lift gate. Let's have a peek inside. So cargo dimensions are showing up there, but look at how much space we have inside of this thing, especially when you compare it to a vehicle like the Aviator. So a ton more space inside of it, much deeper, much wider. Now we do have the options either for the extended length or the regular length. So depending on what options you've got there, I'll have the dimensions for the depth coming up on both of them as well. Let's look at how that compares when we've got that third row folded down. So as you can see there, infinitely more space. Now that back row is a 3-seater, and we've got a 60-40 split. So 60% driver, 40% passenger. So we can fold either one down if we need more people sitting into this thing while we load up some cargo as well. All right, now let's look and see how much of a difference that makes. When we've got that second row folded down, how much more space we've got inside of this vehicle. So it's huge and really, really beneficial. If you need to get a little bit more stuff inside of it, we've got the capability to do that. And as I mentioned, we can fold down either side. So this one's got the seating configuration for 7 seats. We do have the option for a bench seat in that middle row, but even when we do that, we can fold that middle row down individually, whereas the third row, it's a 60-40 split. So we can kind of fold things down as we'd like to in order to be able to get some more stuff in the back of the vehicle. Now taking a peek in the cargo area. So starting off on the right hand side, we've got a light and some cargo tie downs. We also do have a traditional cigarette lighter adapter in the back there. Looking along the left hand side, same, a little bit of storage area, top and bottom. And we also do have power folding seats. Now that's power folding up and down for the third row. The middle row is powered down, but it's manual back up. So we can fold each seat down individually, so that 60-40 bench, we can press and hold in order to be able to fold them both down, or we can fold them down individually if we'd like. And that's the same way for that middle row. Now this is going to be the standard cover that we're looking at inside of the vehicle. We do have the option for a thermoplastic rubber tray instead. Lifting this cover up, as you can see, we've got a little storage area along the side, our cargo nuts, etc. We've got the jack underneath this. Now, when it comes down to it, our spare tire is actually just underneath the vehicle. So as you can see there, now taking a peek here, so as you can see, we do have the option for the dual captain's chairs with the console in the middle instead. We actually have 3 different configuration options for this middle row inside of the Aviator. We can have it with the dual captain's chairs with that console, we can get the dual captain's chairs with no console, or we can get a bench seat instead with 3 seats in this middle row. It's ultimately going to depend on do you need a 6 or a 7 seat configuration. Now, if you only need like a 4 or 5 seat, I would recommend getting maybe without the console. And the big reason why is because it's easier to pass through to the back. We do have the option of power sliding, so we can press the button there in order to get in the back. And I'm 6 feet tall, and at the end of the day, I can technically easily get into the back here easy enough, but it's going to be a matter of personal preference there. All right, so moving this seat back, we do have the ability to move this thing forward a little bit more if we need to, but with the seat all the way back, I've got just enough knee room here. So definitely something to take into account. Looking up overhead, I've got about 2.5 inches of headspace up overhead. So if you've got some taller people, they absolutely can get fit back here, but if you're getting into that like 6'4", 6'5" category, they're definitely at least in the middle seat, ideally in that front seat as well. But taking a look in the back here, there's not a ton of stuff in the back row of the Aviator. As you can see there, we've got a few cup holders along both sides, and we've also got some more cargo tie downs as well. Now taking a look at the second row of the vehicle, driver's seat set up for somebody who's 6 feet tall. This seat is actually not forward all the way, so I could still move it forward a bit to create a little bit more space for people in the back. Even when I do, I've got a teeny little bit of knee room. But if you don't necessarily care about the people in the back or there's nobody sitting back there, we can slide this back a little bit more. With the seat all the way back, tons of knee room, tons of foot room. Up overhead, I've got about 2 inches of head clearance space as well. So if you've got some tall people, could they fit back here? Yes. But one of the nice things is that we've also got the ability to adjust and move the seat back a little bit more. So that gives me about 2.5, almost 3 inches of space up overhead if I've got the seat all the way back with it fully reclined. So if you've got some taller people, you might need to look at the Navigator as an option instead, but this thing is actually very comfortable, which is kind of nice. Now, as I mentioned, we've got some different options to figure out what's going on with this middle row. If you need the 7-seat configuration, get the bench seat, but if you only need a smaller configuration, like 3 or 4 people, I would recommend looking at the one without this console in the middle instead, because it's just infinitely easier to pass through that back row. Now looking at some second row features. So first thing to point out, we do have the option of launching this cargo shade up. So really, really nice, especially on those brighter days. And then we can just manually drop it back down there. Along both the driver and the passenger side, as you can see, we also do have pockets along both sides. Now moving down, this is going to be standard regardless of what's happening with this console in the middle. But as you can see, we've got some seat control settings. So we've got the ability to turn on our heated seats. We've got our climate control, audio, and some basic settings as well. Now, regardless of what happens with this middle row, like even if you get the bench seat in the middle there is never going to be heated. It's just going to be the outboard seats on the driver and the passenger side. Now, as we start to move down a tiny little bit more, we've got our vents. Moving down a little bit, as you can see there, we do have our USB and our USB-C. Along the right-hand side, we do have a traditional wall outlet, so 150 volt if we ever need, 150 watt, I should say, if we ever need to plug anything in there. Now with the option with the console, as you can see there, we do have a few cup holders. We've got a little bit of storage space, and the people in the back also can control what's going on with the sunshade up overhead. So they do have the ability to open and close it as necessary. And then we've got a little storage pocket with a few more USB ports down there as well. Now, tons of different options when it comes down to it. Whether you get this one or not is going to be a matter of preference. When we get the one without the console, it's literally just going to be a pass through to the back instead. So it's going to really be a matter of what your personal preference is. When we get the one with the bench seat, the cup holders move from down there, obviously into the bench. It would just be in the back row of the bench seat instead. Right, now taking a peek on the inside. So this one here does have the dual captain's chair set up. We do have the option for a bench seat instead, depending on how many seats we actually need inside of the vehicle. But this one is going to have 7 seats because we've got the 2 in the front, driver passenger, we've got 2 in the middle, and then we've got 3 in the back. Now, if you had the bench seat here, it is a little bit more challenging to get into that back row. Not impossible, because we can just crank this up in order to be able to lift the seat in order to hop inside there. So we can easily hop inside here if we need to. It's a little bit more challenging there. So honestly, if you don't need the extra seats, I do recommend getting the option without the console in the middle to easily get into that back seat instead. Now, taking a look here, a few things to point out. So we are looking at the Navigator, which has 3 seats in the back there. So tons of spacing that's available. Along the side, as you can see there, we've got the ability to actually adjust this seat. So we can move that seat forwards or backwards a little bit. So if you want to make it a little bit more comfortable for people, you've got the capabilities to do that. We've got a USB port along the passenger and along the driver's side. And then both of these chairs, as you can see there, we do have the option of folding them back a little bit more. So if we need to make them a bit more comfortable, we can easily do that. Up overhead, we've got some cargo hooks. We've got our belt along the top there as well. And we've also got the ability to adjust our fans. So we've got really nice. We've got the ability to adjust it if we'd like to. And up overhead, last one to point out, we've got the ability to turn our lights on there as well. Now looking at second row spacing inside of the Navigator. So I'm 6 feet tall and I've got the driver's seat set up for somebody who's 6 feet tall. I've got a boatload of knee room and I still have the ability to move the seat forwards and backwards as necessary if I need to create a little bit more room for some folks in the back. So really nice. When it comes down to headspace, I've got about 2 inches of headspace up overhead, and I've also got the ability to recline that seat a little bit more. So if you have some taller people, you can slide this seat back a bit, and that's just going to open the headspace up even more. So realistically, like 6'4", 6'5", you could probably comfortably sit in the back seat if you had the seat fully reclined back. Now looking at some technology in the back row here. So firstly, as you can see there up overhead, we do have a light there, so we can adjust that for both the driver and passenger side. And we also have a fan control along the top, and we've got our holy crap handles along both sides, the driver and passenger. Moving down, now this one does have the Revel audio system, so as you can see there, one of the many speakers that's positioned throughout this thing. And we also do have, as you can see there, our TVs in the back, so our media center. So we've got the two TVs, driver and passenger side there. Now, do you need these things as an option? If you've got young kids, it's definitely a good option in order to be able to, kind of keep them preoccupied. If you just have tablets and things like that, you could realistically use that instead. Now, as I mentioned, so this one here does have the dual captain's chairs in the middle there. We do have the option for the bench seat, and that would be for that 3 seats instead there. So we would have a total of 8 total seats inside of this thing. It's going to ultimately come down to what do you need inside of this vehicle. But as I mentioned, when you do have just the dual captain's chairs, it's infinitely easier to pass through to that 3rd row instead. Now looking in the back of the main console, so one thing to point out, as you can see there, we do have the ability to adjust our volume, we can change out the media, we can change our clock, and then we can do some seeking there as well. We've got our we've got our fan control, our speed, and we've also got our heated seats. We can figure out if it's going, the airflow is going to our feet or to our face, auto setting, and then we've also got our power on and off. So we've got a lot of controls in the back here for people that are sitting here. Moving down a bit more, as you can see, we've got our traditional USB and our USB-C, as well as our cigarette lighter adapter, and there's also a 150 volt inverter, or 150 watt inverter, I should say. Moving down a tiny little bit more, we've got the ability to press this down, and look at this, cup holders. So if you get the option that doesn't have the bench in the middle there, we do have the option of just having some cup holders down there instead, and just click in order to lock that back into place. We also do have, along our passenger and our driver's side, some extra pockets if we need to store some things. All right, now looking along our driver's side door. So this is actually how we're going to adjust the driver's seat. So the driver passenger seat for that front row is going to be a power process, but it's not along the driver passenger seat, it is along our driver's side door there. So we've got the ability to move the seats forwards, backwards, up and down. We can even adjust each leg individually inside of this thing. Like, how cool is that? So if you've got some legs that are a little bit lopsided, you've got the ability to easily adjust for whatever is comfortable for you. We can adjust individual elements of the backrest as well, which is really neat. So we can go up or down with each individual part in the actual middle screen there. So we do have a few more options that are available, and it kind of goes through a little bit more. So we've got the ability to adjust each cushion individually as well. We can move this headrest up or down. We can move it forwards and backwards. So we've got a lot of flexibility there. And we also do have massage chair seats inside of the Aviator as well. So really, really comfortable from that perspective. Now, other parts of the door to point out, as you can see, we've got our unlock and our lock buttons. We've got the ability to power fold our side view mirrors. We can adjust our mirrors, and then we've also got our window up and down. Now, unlike most Lincoln vehicles, as you can see there, we don't have a traditional door handle. We're actually going to press this button in order to be able to open the door up from the inside. Now, if for whatever reason the power ever dies, we do have an emergency latch along the bottom there if we ever need to get out of the vehicle as well. Looking just to the left-hand side there, so as you can see, left-hand side of the steering wheel, a few things to point out. We've got the ability to either open or close our trunk there, so we've got some trunk adjustment buttons there. We've got the ability to open up our locking gas cap, so we just press that. Now, if you're in the regular gas engine, this would not be there. We would just have this button for the trunk release instead. We've got the ability to turn on our fog lamps, figure out what's going on with our running lamps, and then adjust the brightness of this cluster screen there, so we can make that darker or brighter depending on your own personal preference. Adjusting the driver's seat inside of the Aviator is a very straightforward process. It's power, and those buttons are located just along our driver's side door, and it's going to be the same way for the passenger door. So we would adjust it on both doors instead. So it kind of catches people off guard the first time you jump in. You think you're going to adjust on this side, but it is on our driver door. When it comes into the steering wheel, just by our left knee, and it's telescopic, so telescopic power, so we can go in, out, up, and down. Once you've got that perfect position for your steering wheel, for your driver's seat, and your side view mirrors, you can press and hold either 1, 2, or 3 along that side door there in order to create your own unique profile. Next up, let's take a peek at the steering wheel. So first thing to point out, this thing, beautiful leather wrapped steering wheel, and it is heated as well, which is great, heated all the way around. So if you're driving up here, down here, etc., really, really nice from that perspective. Looking along the top left-hand side, we've got our voice command button, and that's going to give us the ability to either make phone calls, change radio stations, and navigate using our voice instead, which is really, really nice. Moving down, we've got the ability to either change songs or radio stations. We can increase or decrease our volume if we'd like to. And then we've also got a button in order to kind of adjust what's going on there. So as you can see, this is going to be for our adaptive cruise control system, but we've got buttons that are they're hidden. So depending on what's going on both this button and the other buttons as well, that's going to kind of adjust what's showing up. So as you can see there, we have buttons that essentially hide based off of whatever's currently going on in the vehicle, which is kind of nice. The adaptive cruise control side of things, a really nice setting because the adaptive cruise control essentially works a few different ways. Really, really nice because if you've got the adaptive cruise control speed set up, what's going to happen is if the vehicle recognizes an oncoming vehicle, it's automatically going to slow you down. It can pull you down to a complete stop, and then it can pick you right back up to your set speed again. So it's a really, really cool system from that perspective. I'm not going to lie, the first couple times you use the system, it is a little bit challenging to get used to it, but once you get used to it, it's an incredible system. Moving down a little bit more, so just kind of sliding our fingers up and along the back there, we've got the ability to either increase or decrease our speed. So once we've got our speed set, so we can increase or decrease 1 kilometer, 1 mile per hour at a time. If for whatever reason you press the brake, we can easily resume along the button there. Along the right-hand side, we've got our distance indicator. So how far or how close are we away from the vehicle that's in front of us? You can adjust your distance there. And this one is going to be our lane centering system. So we've got the ability to have our lane centering system going. That works 3 different ways. Way number 1, if we start to veer over into lane without signaling, get a little bit of a steering wheel shake. Way number 2 is it'll actually recenter us and pull us back into our lane. Way number 3 is it's going to shake and recenter us and pull us back into our lane, which is kind of nice. And just button press to get rid of those settings again. Off to the right-hand side, we've got the ability to select what's going on in those middle screens there. So we've got some different screens that we can jump in between. So tire pressure, monitors, calming screen, and a few others. And we've got the ability to adjust what's going on there. Now, one of the nice things is that this thing does have a heads-up display, which we may not really be able to make it out, unfortunately. A little bit bright outside there, but it is a gorgeous display there. So it is available as an option inside of the Aviator. Now, as we start to move down a bit more, so we can jump back, we've got some basic audio settings. So jump between our AM, FM, Sirius XM, etc. Moving up, we can navigate. Moving to the right, we can make phone calls. And then moving back down, we've got some other options for some settings. Now, if you're looking for more of a comprehensive breakdown on how all of these features work, as well as that Sync 3 screen, check down in the description below because I've done a full walk-around video on how this vehicle works. But really, really nice. I love the look and what they've done with this vehicle. Now, as we start to move in a little bit, so as you can see there, we do have our minus and our plus buttons, and that's going to be for our gear. So we've got the ability to either decrease or increase a gear if we'd like to. And along the left stick, as you can see, we've got our lane keeping system, which we can turn on or off if we'd like to. And we can also flick our high beams on or off from there. Right-hand side, so if your vehicle is equipped with the rain sensing wipers, this is going to adjust how sensitive it is to the rain that's hitting your windshield. Along the right side on the end, as you can see, we've got the ability to turn on or off our rear wiper as well. We can pull in towards us for those front wipers, or we can push away for the rear. All right, next up, taking a peek at the center stack. So a few things to point out. First and foremost, as you can see there, we do have our start-stop buttons. So press that in order to turn the vehicle on or off. And we've got this beautiful Sync 3 system. So Sync 3 system inside of the Aviator, which means we are on wired Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. We will have factory navigation, but we do have the ability to hook up using Waze, Google Maps, or Apple Maps directly through this middle screen, which is incredible. Looking, we've got a number of basics. Now, as I mentioned, this is going to be the hybrid, so that's why we've got these power flow and charge settings. If we just had the regular gas engine, those buttons wouldn't be there, but everything would look essentially the exact same. We've got some basics for audio. Ooh, let's do a quick audio test. So nice. So nice. I love the way that this thing sounds. And that's the Revel audio system that's inside of this thing. Speakers literally all over the place, which is incredible. Now we've got the ability to easily change sources. We've got some basic phone settings, navigation, and our basic settings as well. So looking at some basic settings, the big one that I'm going to point out right now are driver assistance settings. So we've got our adaptive cruise. The cruise control can actually be set up 3 different ways. So we've got our normal cruise control, the adaptive, or the intelligent. The intelligent cruise control is all based off of speed sign recognition. So if you've got it set to 60 kilometers an hour and the speed drops from 60 to 50 and the vehicle picks up on that, it's automatically going to slow you down instead. So really, really great system. Pre-collision assist, so if the vehicle senses a collision, it's imminent, it's actively going to brake. We've got our blind spot system. Now, this is also one of the other reasons why you want to get the tow package from the factory, because not only do we have the sway control, we also have trailer blind spot. So if we enter our trailer dimensions, the blind spot system is not only going to pick up the blind spot for the vehicle, it's also going to pick up the blind spot for the trailer. So if a vehicle enters our blind spot on either side of the trailer or the vehicle, it's automatically going to let us know that that's going on. So really, really nice. We've got a ton of different things: reverse brake assist, auto hold, hill descent control, things like that. As I mentioned, check down in the description below for the comprehensive walk around on this. Moving down, as you can see there, we do have our park button. So we've got our active park assist and we can navigate to parking as well. We've also got our full 360 camera, so really, really beautiful view there. And we can also switch it up from a 360 view to a front partial view or to a front 180-degree view as well. And then moving back to our 360-degree view again from there. So really, really nice. And then we can just button press. Oh, we can button press in order to get rid of that one again. Moving down, so 360 camera, and we also do have our basic driver assistance settings, so we can turn some settings on or off. All right, now this, piano keys. So this is the same across the entire Lincoln lineup now, but we've got our park, reverse, neutral, drive. We don't have sport mode inside of this. Now that's gonna be the same for the gas engine as well. So unfortunately, we don't have the ability to manually press that one in order to get the sport mode, but we do have the ability to use the paddle shifters either way if we'd like to. Moving down, we've got our volume rocker, our tuning knob, changing between different sources, or we can lock out that rear console so people in the back cannot play around with it. We've got some basic climate control settings, and because of the model of the vehicle we're in, we've got our heated steering wheel, as well as our heated and cooled front seats. Now, as we start to move down, we've got a few different sliders there. So as you can see, we do have a slider, as well as our traditional USB and our USB-C port. Moving along the other side, we do have a little storage area for our phone if we'd like to, as well as a few cup holders. As you can see there, we also do have our electronic parking brake and drive modes. Let's get to that for a second. So we've got a series of selectable drive modes there. So as we start to move that knob over, so we've got our normal, we've got our conserve, we've got our excite, and we've also got on the other side our slippery and then the deep snow conditions. So each drive mode is going to do something different. When you get into the excite mode, that's going to hang onto the gears a little bit longer. So it really helps you with that added performance. Versus if you look at that slippery, so the deep snow mode specifically, it's going to adjust what's going on with the traction control and the stability control as well in order to help out with that tire grip as we go. So back down, as you can see there, we do have a console in the middle, and you can just kind of make it up, but we've got a little storage area there. And we also do have our wireless charging pad, so we can make that out there. So really, really nice if you've got a phone that supports wireless charging, we can set that up easily. And then as you can see, a little bit of storage space. And as we move up overhead, so as you can see there, we've got an auto dimming rear view mirror, some basic controls for our lights there as well, so we can toggle those on or off if we'd like to. A few other nice things about the Navigator, as you can see there, we do have power deployable running boards. We've got the ability to permanently lock those down if we'd like to. Along our driver's side door, as you can see there, we've got a 5-digit number we can enter in order to be able to unlock the door if we really like to, if we don't have the fob on us. Moving along the inside here. So one of the nice things about the Navigator, so this thing, first of all, luxury, redefined, like this thing looks absolutely incredible, but in order to be able to adjust the driver passenger seat, it's actually going to be just on the left-hand side there. So as you see, we've got the ability to adjust our seat there, so we can adjust moving forwards, backwards, up and down, etc. We've got some individual seat memory buttons, so if you've got multiple people driving, you can set up your driver's seat, your steering wheel, and your side view mirror to your own personal preference, and then press and hold 1, 2, or 3 in order to be able to set your own personal preferences from there. We've got the ability to turn on our massage chair seats. We can adjust it, and we can figure out what's going on with our right versus our left leg. Looking along the door, we've got our unlock and our lock buttons, adjust our side view mirrors, we can roll our windows up and down, and then we've got our door handle from there as well. Now this is a Revel audio system inside of this thing, and it does sound absolutely incredible. The speakers are literally all over the place inside of this vehicle. Looking just to the left-hand side of the steering wheel, so a few things to point out there. So you can see we've got our fog lamps, figure out what's going on with our running lamps. So we've got a couple different settings. Honestly, the only two I recommend you worry about is left, all the way to the left, which is going to be off, or all the way to the right, which is going to be your auto setting. So it's going to change it between the daytime or the nighttime running lamps, depending on how bright it is outside. We've got the ability to increase or decrease the brightness of this cluster screen, and then we've also got the ability to either open and close our trunk as well. Now, one of the nice things about the Navigator is that we also do have power adjustable pedals, so we've got the ability to move those closer or farther away depending on how tall we are. Now, adjusting the driver's seat inside of the Navigator is a power process, and that's going to be the same for the driver and the passenger side. So just along our door, we've got a series of different levers there. We can move the seat forwards, backwards, up and down. We can move each leg individually as well, and we also can move different positions of the back. So you can really customize it and really get the seat to hug you the perfect way that it is for you. Now, on top of that, we also do have massage chair seats, but we'll get to that one in just a second, but it is extremely comfortable. Looking at the steering wheel, it is power adjustable and it's telescopic. So just by our left knee, there's a little dial pad. So as I mentioned, telescopic, so we can move it in and out. We can go up and down with it. Once we've got that perfect position for the steering wheel for our driver's seat and the side view mirror, you're going to press and hold either 1, 2, or 3 on the door in order to be able to save your own personal preferences. Now, when it comes down to it, I'm 6 feet tall, and with the seat in the lowest position it can possibly go, up overhead, I've got about 3 inches of headspace. Now, one thing to note, as I mentioned, we can also slide that seat back a little bit more if we need to. So if you've got some taller people, just knowing that you've got a ton of flexibility here. So you've got those longer legs, you can move that seat back, you can recline this backrest as well to really get that perfect position, all dependent on how you prefer to drive. Next up, let's take a peek at the steering wheel. So a few things to take into account. This is a heated steering wheel wrapped all the way around. Big, beautiful, bright, lots of buttons. Let's dive into it. So looking in the top left-hand side, we've got the ability to change between songs or radio stations. We can increase or decrease our volume, or we can mute up by pressing that button in the middle. Moving down, we've got our cruise control buttons. So the vehicle itself is equipped with adaptive cruise control. We can turn that system on or off. This next one is going to be the distance indicator. So how close or how far are we away from the vehicle that's in front of us? Once you're at your perfect speed, you're going to set, and then you can either increase or decrease either 1 kilometer or 1 mile per hour at a time. Looking along the right-hand side, as you can see there, we've got a few different back buttons. So a few different basic buttons, I should say. So this one's going to be a generic back button. So as we're kind of navigating through different screens, we would press the back button in order to bring us back to our home screen again. We can navigate through our different screens by pressing up and down, and we've got the OK button just by pressing that button in the middle. Our voice command button is going to let us change songs, radio stations, make phone calls, etc., all by pressing this button using our voice. This is going to allow us to either answer or hang up on a phone call. We've got some options for our heads-up display, which we can't actually really make out right now, unfortunately, but it is there. It gives us the option to look at what's going on with our navigation. Because we've got our adaptive cruise control system on, it would show us what's going on there, as well as a number of other things. So really, really cool from that perspective. That's going to be available standard. We've got the ability to figure out what's going on with our radios, to change between AM, FM, Sirius XM. If our phone was connected, or a USB stick with MP3s on it, that would show up there as well. Navigation, we can go to previous destinations, point of interest, nearby destinations, etc. And we've also got some basic settings. So we can set up our display. So if we want to show the tachometer in the view as well. So as you can see there, it's now kind of stretched the screen out a little bit more. So we've got some flexibility on what this thing looks like. We've got our traction control, hill descent control, and a few other things. Driver assistance, we've got our blind spot system. So as I mentioned, the blind spot system lets us know if anybody's entered the blind spot on either side of the vehicle. So when we turn that system on or off, we can kind of see what's going on there. And moving back, so as you can see, we've got our trailer blind spot as well. So this is also one of the big reasons why you want to get the tow package from the factory, because we do have the trailer blind spot system there. A few other things, we've got our lane keeping system, which works 3 different ways. So one of the interesting things, because we've got the lane keeping system, so if we start to veer over into a lane without signaling, it's going to shake the steering wheel almost as if we're running over rumble pavement. Way number 2 is it's actually going to take over the steering wheel, recenter you, and pull you back into your lane. Or way number 3, it'll do both. So give you a shake and recenter you, pull you back into your lane. Which one happens is going to ultimately be up to you. But we've got a ton of different options that are available. Moving into our pre-collision assist. So if the vehicle senses a potential collision, it's actively going to brake for us. But we do have the ability to turn that system off if we really want to. Towing, we've got the option of setting up our trailer there as well. And as I mentioned, with the trailer set up, with the dimensions showing up there, it's automatically going to adjust the trailer blind spot to cover the trailer as well as the vehicle, which is kind of nice. We've got a number of advanced settings. So if you're looking for more of an advanced walk around on the Navigator, check down in the description below. I'm working on that video right now. It should be out shortly, but it goes over everything about how all of these buttons actually work, the adaptive cruise control, as well as that Sync 3 screen. So setting everything up there, but check down in the description below to get access to that video. Now, as we start to move in a little bit, as you can see there, we've got our minus and our plus buttons. So we've got the ability to easily adjust gears if we'd like to. Along the left stick, I should say, we've got the ability to turn our lane keeping system on or off. You can see that kind of disappearing and showing up right along the bottom there. So the system itself might actually be on, but it doesn't actually activate until you hit about 60 kilometers an hour. Those are going to go green. And then as we start to veer over into a lane without signaling, it's going to go yellow first to warn us, and then it's going to go red before it actually either shakes or pulls us back into our lane. But we do have the ability to turn that off if we really don't like it. Along the right side, rain sensing wipers, so we've got the ability to adjust how sensitive it is to the rain hitting the windows. We've got the ability to turn on our rear wiper as well, pull in towards us for the wiper in the front, push away for the one in the back. So very straightforward. As we start to look down the center stack, we've got our engine start stop button. We've got this beautiful Sync 3 screen, which is going to give us Android Auto and Apple CarPlay capabilities. We still are on Sync 3 inside of the Navigator, so it is a wired connection inside of this thing. Hopefully, fingers crossed, next year we see the new Sync 4 system, which would be really, really cool. But moving down, we've got our audio, our phone, navigation. So one of the nice things is that, yes, we do have factory navigation, but we also do have the ability to use our phones instead. So we can either use Google Maps, Apple Maps, or Waze by connecting through Android Auto or Apple CarPlay, which is really nice. We've got a lot of advanced settings as well. So we've got some basic sounds, we've got some navigation settings, display, and a few other things. Now as we start to move down, as you can see there, we do have our full 360 camera. So we've got our full 360 view, our front partial view, or our front 180 view. So lots of different options there, and we can get rid of that. Moving down, we've got our park, reverse, neutral, and our drive gear. We've got our volume rocker. So actually, let's change to a station and do an audio test. So this is one of the reasons why you want to do this. 94.9.
Tuning to FM 94.9.
I love the fact that we can do that with our voice. Really, really nice. So let's do a quick audio test.
When it comes to performance style.
Oh, of course, it's not playing anything. Let's change it to another station. 97.7.
Tuning to FM 97.7.
All right, here we go. That is incredible. The sound system in this thing is absolutely mind-blowing. Sounds incredible. Literally speakers all over the place, driver, passenger side, etc., which is really, really cool. Now, as we start to move down a little bit, we've got the ability to turn our system on or off there. We can change between songs or radio stations. We've got our different sources. We've got the ability to tune that way, but as I just showed you, by pressing the voice command button on the steering wheel, you can tune using our voice instead. Infinitely better option. We've got some basic climate control settings. We've got dual zone climate control. We've got our heated and cooled front seats there as well. We've got our basic menu button in order to figure out what's going on with our fan control. And we've also got the ability to adjust what's going on with the rear, and we can also lock out that console as well. Moving down a tiny little bit, as you can see, just beautiful wood grain in this thing. It looks incredible. Starting off on the left side, so pressing that open, as you can see there, we do have a wireless charging pad along the side. So if you've got a phone that supports wireless charging, very straightforward. Just kind of toss your phone there. Boom. Oh, let me flip it around so you can actually see it. So toss your phone in there, and as you can see, we are now wirelessly charging, which is great. So you can see there we've got a few USB ports, so we're USB as well as our USB-C, as well as a traditional cigarette lighter adapter as well. You can just kind of make it up, but we do have some cabin lighting in there. So cabin lighting there by our feet and a few other spots. And just crank that back down. Other side we can press in order to reveal a few cup holders, which is really nice. And we've also got a phone storage holder there as well. And breaking that down, click that back into place. As we start to move down, we've got our parking brake, so our electronic parking brake, our auto start stop, which is going to kill power to the engine, so we can toggle that one on or off. We've got our auto hold setting, which if we come to a complete stop with this setting on, we can take our foot off the brake and the car won't move. We've got the ability to turn off the reverse sensing system, so that beeping that we get, we can toggle that one off if we want to. And then we've got our parking assist. So the vehicle itself can actually help with parking, so it can either help out with parallel parking, perpendicular parking, or parallel park out. Different drive modes, we've got a number of different options that are available there. So as we start to move, we've got our normal, conserve, or excite. Moving along the other way, we've got our slippery as well as our deep snow conditions as well. So each one is going to do something different. Like when we're in the deep snow and sand, it's going to turn traction control off and it's going to adjust our stability control. Well, if we're in the excite mode, it's going to hang onto the gears a little bit longer to give us more of kind of like a little bit more oomph as we drive instead. So what happens there is going to be a matter of personal preference. Now as we start to move down a little bit more, so as you can see there, we do have this little guy. So a little bit of storage space underneath. We can pull this tray out, and as you can see there, we do have a traditional cigarette lighter adapter and a very deep storage area down there as well. So really, really nice that we've got that flexibility. Let's drop this back in and lock it back into place. And as we start to move up overhead, so as you can see there, we do have an auto dimming mirror. So if we've got bright lights going on behind us, the mirror is automatically going to dim for us, which is great. Up overhead, as you can see there, we do have some basic lighting controls. We've got our control as well for our sunroof. So we've got the ability to open that shade up if we'd like to, but it's a beautiful, beautiful roof. So you can open this thing up in order to get full access and full view there, which is great. Now, one thing to note, it is just this section of the roof that's going to open up. So not the entire thing, but we still do have a nice option there, and we can either vent it out or we can open the whole thing up instead. So we've got some flexibility there as well. And we've also got a sunglasses holder up along the top. Up overhead a bit more, as you can see, we do have our home link. So we've got the ability to plug a program in a garage door opener if we've got one at home. Moving this down, as you can see there, we do have our vanity mirror with the lights, and we can lock that back into place. But before we do, we can slide this out a little bit more if we need to block some of that sun as we drive. And click it and lock it back into place. Well, folks, that was a look at the 2021 Lincoln Aviator, comparing it with the Navigator. What did you think? Which one do you think is going to be better for you? If you have any questions, drop down in the comments section below, and I'm more than willing to talk you through any issues that you might be having. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up, consider sharing it with your social networks, and until I see you next time, make sure you stay safe.